Hi, Jeff from Untitled Chapter here, and we are on the Panasonic stand, and I'm stood here with Jim Marks, Lumix Ambassador. And welcome, Jim.
Thank you.
Yeah. How's the show been for you so far?
It's been very busy.
Yeah.
People have braved the snow. They're here.
Yeah,
it's fantastic.
amazing.
It's really good. Really good. Yes.
Oh, great. Well, one of the questions we've heard, there's been from our readers quite often, there's been a lot of interest in the GH5,
yes,
which I have here, and the GH5S, which is behind us here. People want to know what the differences are between the two cameras. Can you briefly tell us what the differences are between the GH5 and the GH5S?
I'm going to start by saying the two things are the same. The body's the same, and the batteries are the same.
Okay.
So that's good for power, and it's good for any cages. Apart from that, it's completely different. The inside, the biggest difference is a completely different sensor.
Okay.
So GH5 has a 20 megapixel sensor. The GH5S has a 10.2 megapixel sensor, which is optimized for low light.
Okay.
It's also, people forget, it's actually 10% wider, 9% wider than the field of view of the GH5. So you get a slightly more width on the GH5S.
Okay.
Yes.
That's interesting. Now, the both cameras are optimized for video.
Yes.
What level of videographer are each camera aimed at?
The way I see the G series is that the GH5 sits in the middle, okay, and that's kind of 50-50, hybrid, stills and moving.
Yeah.
To the left you have the G9, which is 80% stills, 20% video, still does 4K video, but to the right you've got the S, and that's kind of 80% video, 20% stills.
Okay.
It's got time code, it's got dual ISOs, which is really rare at this price point. It's amazing, which they are 400 and 2,500, so it's got amazing low light, and it's properly built for like professional video productions.
That's actually a good point. Could you explain the Duel Iso technology to those out there who might not be familiar?
What Panasonic have done is they've taken a feature from their professional range, like the EVA and the Vericam LT, and they've got two signals, a dual ISO, one at 400, a lower, and one at 2.5. Okay, so it just gives you much cleaner footage at a higher ISO, and the camera can also do it automatically, so it can decide with auto ISO, which frequency to go to. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. Now, my last question for you is, say someone has, going by your ratios here on what stills versus video, say someone has bought the GH5 and is looking to get move into more video. What sort of accessories would you need to get what are some of the essential accessories?
If you look just over here,
yes,
you'll see my beautiful rig. There were just a few accessories on.
Yeah.
Can we talk about that quickly? Okay, so we've got a GH5S here, all right, with the best accessory that Panasonic make, which is this wonderful XLR adapter. That turns it into a complete proper video camera. Dual XLRs, line in, levels. It's powered through the camera, and it lays the track straight on the camera, and you just literally slot it in there. I love that little thing. Sits on hot shoes, powered straight through it. I've got a focus monitor on the front, which I love because I can pick my focus and then I can actually zoom in while I'm recording, which makes life a lot easier. I've also done a little hack here with we like a hack, don't we? Everyone loves a hack. With a Fujinon MK Cine Zoom, we've changed the mount, taken the E-mount off, and for very low cost, we've put a Micro Four Thirds mount on, and we've actually then got a fantastic little package, really small, really light, but with a manual cinema zoom on there, which is it just makes things a lot easier. You can just crash in, crash out, all in one small little package. Yes. Sorry, I've got a Rode, just a simple Rode, just up there. That's if we pop that off, and you just want to just pop it into 3.5. It's just in there. But the great thing about these cameras is you can have them bare bones with nothing, just here in your hand, or you can kind of build them up into sort of cinema machines. Yeah.
Well, great. Thank you very much, Jim.
That's a pleasure.
Yeah. Thanks
For coming in the weather.
Yeah. Cheers.